Hey, it's Erica Renee, and this is another episode of TBI Uncovered, a platform that allows traumatic brain survivors to share their story and bring awareness about TBIs, brain injuries, brain conditions, the disability community, anyone touching brain injuries, and to provide resources to those impacted. I'm going to bring a guest in today. He's coming from Florida. Hold on, let me tune him in. Hold on. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, Erica. Greetings from South Florida, West Palm Beach area.
So I want you to introduce yourself and
Okay.
people how you sustain your injury and things like that.
Hey,
You
hello, everyone. I want to first say thank you to Erica for allowing me to come on to have this conversation. She's fantastic.
Thank you.
And so I suffered my traumatic brain injury in a car accident in 2008. I was a senior in high school, 18 years old. I hit my head. I suffered the injury predominantly to my left temporal lobe. So I was in a coma for 3.5 weeks,
Okay.
and then went from a coma to a vegetative state. And then when I woke up, when I really came to and could remember who I was, the right side of my body was unresponsive. Could not move because I had injured the left side of my brain so much.
Okay.
But fortunately, over the course of many years, I've continued to progress, still at 12 and a half years now, working hard to keep moving forward, to keep improving. Exactly. So I studied finance. I was able to go to college 1.5 years after, I guess 2 years after my injury. I went to University of Miami. It was challenging because I thought I was going to be really good. I thought I was okay. And I had overestimated my abilities and struggled through university. Again, with my brain in a brain injured state, I wasn't able to remember nearly as well as I'm certain plenty of other brain injured persons deal with that too.
Yeah.
Especially after high school, not having to study at all in high school, and then
Yeah.
going to college and actually having to read a book more than one time. And then my way of adapting to that was just, I had not read it at all. Don't read it at all because I wasn't going to remember anyway. So I just had to, I became good at building relationships with my professors. I adapted, I changed. And by sharing with my professors who I was as a person and my story, I guess, I wasn't looking for brownie points. I was just looking for them to see me as a real person, And so I think I got better grades than I might have deserved, but it worked out. So got through college, then went to graduate school. Then I ended up in Bangkok. My career, yeah, my career took me after getting my master's degree in hotel management. I got my first job was to go to Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay.
So I had been there for 4.5 years. Say hello to Alicia. Hi, Alicia. Thanks for joining us. Um, I'd been in Thailand for four years before being sent back here to the States because of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm spending a lot of my time working remotely, but also just doing more physical therapy, just continuing to try to improve myself.
So what do you do? What do you do for work?
I used to work in hotel management. That's what brought me out to Thailand. I can speak Chinese. I speak Mandarin. So, so that was the big advantage that I had, and brought me out to talk to all the Chinese people every day at my hotel, a lot of them. And but now I'm working in the craft beer industry, believe it or not. My company is a startup company, and we are introducing a new way of brewing craft beer to the industry, to the world. So anyone who watches who likes beer, just give us a few more months, and we'll be in everyone will be helpful. Everyone will be enjoying our drinks.
So how's your brain injury impacted your life?
It has impacted it very much. First, it changed, of course, physically. It's where I was before to where I am now, but it changed. I was able to adapt to my new brain. Like before, prior to my injury, I was planning on going into finance. Into finance, was ready to work in New York City. Was ready to work hard in an office by myself all day, hit the computer, hit the books, whatever. And then after my injury, my brain is totally different now.
Yeah.
You know, I thrive much more so in social environments.
Mm-hmm.
And I need constantly new experiences to stay focused, to stay engaged. So that's why the hotel industry was the perfect spot for me as my brain continued to develop, because I was able to go to different places. I was able to speak to people and have different kind of experiences.
So your mindset, you've always been an ambitious person. It seems like you've always been very ambitious.
Ambitious. I guess so. Yeah. I mean, just growing up, yeah, I had expectations, I guess. I don't know. And but you bring that up. I believe I'm far more ambitious now after the injury, and I feel it's the same thing for you, I would imagine.
It definitely is. Like
Yeah.
stuff that you can even imagine. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been following a lot of your stuff, which is why I was so excited to come and talk to you, because it's amazing what you're writing and amazing what your what the vision is, and I can see it, and it's really incredible, and that's everything, you know. And I feel like now everything that I can fortunately have been able to accomplish, it means so much more because of the injury that I suffered, and what more goes into it that on the surface not a lot of people see. They might see me walking and struggling physically with something, but just a simple thing, but like and I kind of like it that not everyone knows just how far it has come from where it was, you know. And I watched, I have up on here, I have a post that you put on December 6th of 2019 of you on the treadmill doing the walking on the locomotion machine.
Yeah.
And I've done that too. And it's just that I love what you're writing about it, that yeah, you're going to get there, you know, that you know, that nobody outside the injured community, nor other, or if they're your direct support group, they get it, but but not everyone else will notice that as you're able to proudly walk and complete tasks, which is fantastic. You know, it's exciting.
Thank you. It's hard work. It's hard work though. It's very hard. It's hard
Oh,
work.
right. Yeah, certainly.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Hard work.
But for me, where I am now, I'll tell you, it's all so worth it. And it makes it that much better, because you can think back, you can look back and be like, wow, you're going to look back at that post in the future and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, look at me, I was there, and look at me now. It's fantastic.
I look forward to that moment.
Yeah, exciting. It's good. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite part of therapy? Like the physical or occupational therapy, or
I've
therapy?
since I was 18 when I had my injury. My favorite part of physical therapy, it was always physical therapy was my favorite, because it was my walk that I was most worried about. You know, I mean,
So you didn't have trouble with your speech or anything like that?
fortunately my speech came back quickly. Um, yeah, we ended up in speech therapy back when I was in inpatient therapy for 3 months after my injury. I had 1 hour of OT in the morning, then 1 hour of speech, then 1 hour of PT. And then by the time I was getting out of there in like June of 2008, we cut speech therapy and just did 2 hours of physical therapy.
It's just you need the most. So,
Well, right.
I know for me, it took me about I say 4 months to get my speech back.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right.
Like that, but it took about 4 months, and it just came back naturally. Like me and my mom watching TV, and I'm humming the song, and it just came back and
Yeah, awesome.
go back. So yeah.
Good. Now, yeah, I mean, and your injury was 12 years ago as well?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
See, I did my research. I looked up as best I could.
That's good.
Yeah. And no, it's fantastic. I mean, it's great that you're able to read and write and be all there, you know, cognitively, which is great. Do you have memory issues, or is your memory still okay?
It's just still intact. Everything's intact. It's just the physical aspect of it is just the last part. So
Right. It's an
yeah.
important part, but again, what I always thought, what I was always very excited about, that the cognitive part is the part that can set us apart and keep us afloat in today's day and age, which is really cool, which always gave me confidence moving forward that I could succeed, you know, and same as it's showing you are as well. I saw you had, I was interested because you had Dr. Ned on. He was my neurologist.
You told me that. What?
Yeah.
It's such a small world. It's such a small
Yeah,
world.
it was one of the reasons that I chose. Again, I had my injury in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and when I had applied to my universities prior to my injury, and then I had my injury, and when I was accepted to the schools, and the University of Miami was one of two schools I was choosing between, and it ended up it wasn't the, I mean, the palm trees and the sunshine and the ocean probably made the final decision for me. But it didn't hurt too that UM has such a fantastic neurology program, you know. So all of my case that from New Jersey we were able just to transfer it all right down to Miami, so I didn't have to go back and forth.
Okay.
You know, I was able to continue the therapy right from UM.
Well,
So I saw Dr. Ned for a number of years when I was living in Miami.
Wow.
Before moving to Thailand.
That's why they sparkle.
Cool,
What's
right? Yeah.
the greatest lesson you've learned?
I'm sorry?
Greatest lessons you've learned and stuff
The
like that.
greatest lessons I've learned, the importance of having a great support system, that anyone who watches this that might not be injured but are helping people who have brain injuries or anything, it's incredibly important. My father, my whole family, my mom, my sister, my close friends, you know, it's been very helpful to always have people, to patient advocates, to help me with all the doctors and stuff. For us, we had injuries when we were very young, that and we were not mentally, again, you couldn't talk for a number of months. I couldn't think for a while or talk either, and we were physically unwell, that I need help, and I've learned to ask for help, and that's a very valuable lesson, that as soon as you're comfortable, you humble yourself to just be able to go up to a stranger, a random stranger, and ask. Yeah, and it's amazing. I've learned that people help people. It's a really good thing that people are more, as long as you're going to them with a genuine concern and not just asking them for something silly, people are very willing and happy to help. And it's been very.
Though I've had people rude to me. I've had people be nice to me. So I had a best of both worlds. I had both people be rude to me as well, and you know.
And okay, but it's great for you that you're able to see past it. And yeah, the only way you're going to get it done is to continue to ask for help. And again, it's being confident enough in yourself to be able to handle that person who's not that kind as another one.
Yeah.
But eventually it's a numbers game, I guess, a little bit. People, yeah, I don't know.
So
And
what would you say is the biggest misconception about TBIs?
the biggest
Misconception.
misperception, just that for me, again, my injury is physical as well, that most people, you know, once you get to talk to them, they realize, wow, you're just like everyone else. I'm not certain it's TBI, it's just disability or injury in general, that you're perceived a little bit as weaker than other people. And I'm certain that you deal with some of the same issues, and it's that even, you know, like, they'll be your friend, but you're kind of, you know, there are people that aren't your good friends that are like, kind of, oh yeah, they'll be nice to you, but it's nothing, like, you're still a little bit off because you're not just like them, you're not normal.
Yeah. we're normal. It's just a different part of normal, like a new normal in a sense. Like,
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, well, we can't use the term new normal because that's now the new normal is going to be with all this virus after the virus.
yeah,
It's a different normal, but yeah, it's and once what makes me really happy, I can after talking to someone who might be like a non-believer who doesn't believe in me, but after a little while you can kind of see it in their eye.
definitely can't really talk about. Yeah,
Yeah, that once you are like, oh wow, I can turn a person into like a believer, into someone who's like proud of me. Instead of feeling bad for me, they're
yeah.
proud of what I've been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really big thing.
Like a story till you tell them, like, well, don't feel sorry for me because I've done X, Y, and Z, I've done this and the other.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah,
So yeah.
right. And I mean, I imagine it's the same thing for you. I mean,
Yeah.
that you're doing so many fantastic things, reaching so many people, and building your own kind of a brand. And it's not necessarily something that you would have done had you not suffered your injury, had you not. So yeah, exactly. So when I'm meeting a new person, and if they ask me about why I'm walking the way that I am or whatever, or why my right arm is not as good, and I'm very quick to tell my story because I'm proud of myself, of course, as we should all be. If the first thing that they say is, "Oh, I'm so sorry," that's when I know I'm like, why did I just waste the last 15 minutes talking to you about this? Like, I'm telling you about why my life, what I've done, and I've made it so much better. Like, why? Yeah.
I think it just people don't know what to say. They don't know. It just come
Yeah.
curse. I'm sorry, Well, you don't have to be sorry because
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I.
know. But it's just a common thing people say. Like it's just a nice thing to say. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, or
Then yeah, I guess it's unfair for me to say like they're missing it. Maybe I'm just a little disappointed about when I hear oh sorry, that happened to you. I'd rather I much prefer someone like engage with me like, oh, how did that make you feel? Like, oh, what about this? What about that? Like, oh, what's the valuable lesson you learned? Like you asked, which is so much more makes me feel so much more fulfilled too, which is great. Yeah.
But it's why things like this has to help people like to broaden their minds to we're still people. We're still no we're
Yeah.
still normal people. We're still
Yeah.
we just have a different adjust. We just gotta adjust differently. That's all.
Well, we have a different perspective on life because of our prior experiences, and it's not even only a disabled person; it's anyone who's suffered many challenges in the past, financially, socially, whatever, physically, anything. That it's important for all of us to look back and be confident in ourselves because of what we have overcome, and it's a really good thing. And for people watching that are not disabled, at least me, I'd much prefer someone say, "Oh, I'm so proud," or feel proud for me, rather than, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like, I mean, like what you said, what are you sorry for? I mean, yeah, I don't know.
So yeah.
Yeah.
What else? But I think it's common courtesy. And people knows to say like, "What do you say?" But it's like kind of like a generic thing. Like so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when this podcast becomes famous and millions of people view it, now they'll know what to say. What do you want to say? We'll say, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh, tell me more about that." Just don't say sorry.
If you do something like that and change your life or something like that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, ask a question that shows your I don't know.
Yeah. So I see you've been all over the world, Thailand.
Yeah.
You said Bangkok, like you've been all over the place, Chris.
Mia gets it. She says okay. She knows what to say now. Great.
Yes. So
amen to that.
What's been your favorite place to travel? I'm sorry. First of all, I want to know. So you're a speaker, international speaker. So what's your favorite part about speaking?
I wish I could call myself an international speaker. I did one like formal motivational speech. I got invited to Singapore to do it.
Really, Chris?
Yeah, talk about small world again. My personal trainer back when I was living in, my injury was in Princeton, New Jersey, near that. And my personal trainer at Princeton University, where I was doing my rehab,
Mm-hmm.
he had moved to Singapore and was now the business development
Mm-hmm.
manager for a big company. And they were running they do a yearly seminar, a yearly big party business meeting for all the people around. And
Right. It is.
yeah, and he thought of me right away. And I was already living in Bangkok, so it wasn't like a trip that I was coming from Miami all the way to Singapore just for the speech. I was just flying 2 hours. It was not a big flight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, so I was able to give my first actual real motivational speech, which was amazing. It was a great.
Love it.
And I was able to. Looking back at the speech, I could have done it better. I had it memorized, because again, and that was a feat in itself, brain injured and all, to be able to memorize the whole like 15-minute speech. But I am a little disappointed that no more formal opportunities have come from that quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm confident in myself.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was expecting like right from there, like, oh, here, Chris, come here, come here, come here, and that didn't quite happen, not yet. But it's really cool. Since I've been back here in America, I've really started to find the fantastic community that you've already been a part of here on Instagram, which has been great. So I've been able to connect with a lot of people who have had brain injuries, strokes, that are all young survivors, the same that I am, that you are, that I've been able to take a lot of motivation from other people, seeing what they're doing, what you're doing, what with the podcast. I've been doing. Granted, I've been living international, doing whatever, but I haven't done anything regarding my injury to help other people. I'm only helping myself. So it's really exciting to now be able to share a lot of what my experiences have been, that I've been able to do all this stuff despite my injury, which I hope people can see that there is a life after brain injury.
It definitely is. I can attest to that. It definitely is.
Yeah.
So much more life. And you think, because life just beginning. It's just beginning. Like it's a whole new mindset.
Well, we got a whole new brain, basically. Yeah.
Whole new world. It's like the 11th song. A whole new world. Like it's just a whole new.
Yeah.
It's a whole new setup. So, and I love that part about it. You're like almost ended, but it didn't. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Second.
Oh, right. Yeah. And now you got so many new. My memory was all new. I had trouble remembering my past, so I might as well make the future that much better, make it that much easier to remember.
So who was your friend said you were? Who was your friend said you were before your injury?
Who would my friends say I was before?
Mm-hmm.
I think that I would. I mean, I was very friendly, popular. I was the student council I was vice president of my student council for my high school. So I was friendly and whatnot. The biggest change that I think, I became much more honest.
Okay.
Or I suffered from disinhibition.
What is that?
And that's where you just lack a mental filter a little bit, where you're saying a little bit more than you're not thinking about the consequence of what you are saying prior to.
No, you said no filter, so like a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't cursing or anything, but I was just like, I'm more willing to speak, and now I'm using it as a good thing. What the difference that I see myself now, like before, if I saw someone that I thought was really cool that I wanted to talk to prior to my injury, I would, I needed like something to break the ice kind of thing, I was only 18. I was still in high school, so I wasn't a mature adult yet, but now there is no ice. There is no ice to break. If I see someone that I think is interesting, I'm finding a way to, and I'm very creative in my ways to go up and talk to a person. I find a way really well, and it's helped me out a ton in life, just building relationships with people, which is really cool. Whether it's a girl or whether it's just a cool looking businessman or anything, I've built international relationships because I've become much more open and much more friendly and much more genuine. I,
Confident.
I confident, yeah, proud of myself, you know, and willing to share more about myself, happier about it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think what we can all agree on is that I relate to a lot more people. I'm able to relate to people who have suffered serious injuries, who have gone through a lot in the past, whether it's a physical injury like ours, well, we
Yeah.
have both cognitive and physical, or any kind of difficulty that someone has suffered from. You know, I'm able to have a lot more empathy and a lot more compassion for them because I've done the same thing.
Yeah. I like the answer. That's
Which has given me an ability to connect with a lot of people.
I love that. So how important is brain injury awareness to you?
I'm sorry,
How how important is brain injury awareness?
brain injury awareness, it is important. Well, now I'm getting more into it. It's most people, if you haven't suffered from it, of course, or you don't know anyone who has suffered from it, have no real idea of what it is. Again, being predominantly an invisible injury,
Mm-hmm.
or even if you do have physical injury, they don't think of it, the brain injury part of
Yeah.
it. So it's important I haven't been asked this question before, so I'm sorry to,
Are you fine?
yeah, this is a good one. No, it's important because people deserve to feel like they can connect to others. So someone with a brain injury who might not be as willing or able as you and me to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are on the fortunate side when it comes to our cognitive abilities that we can explain ourselves. And to people who have not suffered an injury, at least that's what I think I'm getting from you, which is great. But there are many brain injured people who are suffering cognitively a lot more that normal non-injured people just can't understand them, and
Yeah.
everyone deserves to have someone or be able to connect and be understood by the
Yeah.
people around them. So the more injury awareness that there is for everyone, I guess, the better that it will be.
I definitely agree. And I like the answer. I remember that I had spoken in my rehab center, and there was a young lady. She couldn't talk, and when I shared my story, I got to the part where I said I couldn't talk for 4 months. Her eyes like lit up, like,
Yeah.
oh, oh, you couldn't, like, and then you're talking like you gave her hope, and just that moment right there was a big deal to me, and it meant a lot to me. But brain injury awareness, I think for me, I would say a lot of people, like I said, it's invisible. You can't see a person's brain. Like
Yeah.
never see your brain. But I think in general, it's important to treat everyone like with respect and not assume that everyone everyone is not even if they had brain injury, not to assume that there's well, I don't want to say slow, but that's not where it's coming to mind right now. We're not slow. It just
No.
it may take a little more time to.
Unique. I say unique with like 1, 2, 3, 4 U's.
Yeah,
Unique.
just a little different. It take more
Yeah.
time to think about stuff a little longer. But we're still wise. We're still like I feel like I'm smarter now. Like
Oh well, yeah, and I do the same. You know, a lot of things have happened that have made what I would think that again, when it comes to me in a social communicating situation, the same thing that I'm better. It's better than it was before.
yeah.
So
So
we have just new skills.
yeah, and I think you just gotta just not to be quick to judge.
Yeah, and that's for people who don't have injuries. And I think it's very important for people with brain injuries to realize to not be down on his
Exactly.
or herself and to seek out those new skills
Yeah.
that you might have. That it might not be, you know, because I'd be going crazy if I had stuck with the finance track
Hmm.
that I was on prior to my injury, and I was knocking my head into the wall of the office that I was in, up in wherever I was, all by myself, going crazy. The big thing, the reason I'm enjoying that I've been able to live well through my injury because I recognized the new skills that my brain had because of the injury. And I adapted to it and I embraced it and made it for the best.
I think it's important to strengthen your weaknesses, and if that makes sense. If you feel like you're weak in an area, work on strengthening that part of it. Where you're stronger,
Sure.
so I think it's important to also work on strengthening.
I interrupted.
Yeah, hi, no.
Thanks for joining us.
So I think it's more important that you work on your, I don't want to say weaknesses, but what area you're not so strong in. I feel like so.
Right, and that's the beauty of neuroplasticity, as I'm certain you are well aware of that.
I'm just not learning about it. I'm just not learning about it. I didn't know. So basically, it's basically like, I guess you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's like retraining your brain to do different things.
Yeah, well, the neuroplasticity itself, it's the brain's ability to fix itself.
Okay.
That you know, I don't know what part of your brain you injured or what part of your head that you injured. Like me, it was the left side mainly. So I lost millions of cells to the left side of my head when I banged my head. But with the brain, again, I'm not a neurologist, so any neurologist, if Dr. Ned watches this, he might admonish me the next time I see him if I'm saying it wrong. But I have it as the brain sends new cells or cells that are being used for other functions to take over for the functions that were lost. So it's by retraining the brain, we can teach those new cells what to do, and that's how we continue to grow. You know, it's not like a broken bone. It's can always be, we are in control as the brain to fix it. So the more the more we concentrate on a certain task, the better we're going to continue to get at it.
Okay, because I know my physical therapist. I know when I would do something over and over and over, it would like I would know how to do it. Like it come natural to me after like I tried something maybe like 20 sometimes, but I got it on the 21st try. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it's the power. It's important to stay optimistic because exactly that. You know, the brain is. Again, this is the way I've taken neuroplasticity. It might not be. It might be a little bit of a kind of a glossy, rainbowy version, but the way I see it, like even as we're just sitting here talking, our brains are getting better. Our brains are fixing themselves constantly. So every morning when I wake up, my brain is a little better than it was yesterday, which means I have a chance of being better than I was yesterday.
Okay.
And that's an important. It's worked for me, and even if it's not 100% accurate, it works as a great motivator.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep going.
You have to think positive too. Like it doesn't do you any justice to think negative. Like even it just it doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve anyone. If you're not injured, it does not serve anybody to be negative in this situation. Because things always change. Like any stuff thinkers like it's stuff changes like that all the time. So
yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. You're wasting time if you're thinking negatively, and if you're just trying to get people to feel bad for you or to feel empathy for you. It's a nice thing to feel, but in the end, it's only you that can get yourself better.
Right.
Like your therapist or your main support system helps you, but in the end, it's you who's stuck in your body, and so it's you and me who we have to keep being optimistic and keep trying to continue to get better.
Yes, I believe in the power of prayer. Also, I'm very my faith has got me along. It's brought me a long way. Like just believing in God and things like that. I don't know if I didn't have that my faith in my life. Like I wouldn't know what to do. Beyond get hard to be positive. It's been 12 years, and I'm in a wheelchair and you're not in a wheelchair, but like for me, it's like it's totally different. So it's like
Hey, you're in a wheelchair, but I see you standing up sometimes too. So there's progress. We're making progress. Yeah.
You have to stand up and take steps like that. I'm not fully 100% independent like I want to be.
Yeah. Not yet. We're getting there. Right.
Yeah, so
you're moving forward. You're continuing to improve. And the brain, now you know about neuroplasticity.
yes.
You're going to look it up when we get off this call. You're going to find
I
out all.
I just didn't know the full extent of it. But your example really helped me a lot. So
Yeah, well, actually, yeah. Just use my example because it
yeah.
might not be any. I'm telling you, like the golden rainbow, the everything happy, everything great version. I think that's a good one to take. Just take the one that, the more that we have the control, we have the power to continue to improve ourselves as long as we stay focused in therapy and we're always doing what we can to progress.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic feeling of control, even when we are not in the same situation we were prior to our injuries.
I agree.
Which is cool.
Before we end, I want to play a little game. It's called This or That.
Okay.
So one or the other. Would you rather travel by plane?
I'm sorry, travel by plane or?
Would you rather travel by plane or train?
Plane.
Plane.
Because I'm faster. I get there faster. I want to get to my destination.
So Malaysia or Bali?
Malaysia or Bali?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I've been to both. I like Bali. Bali is really, really, really cool.
Okay.
Malaysia, yeah, Bali. Bali, I like Bali a lot.
Bali.
Cool.
So would you rather swim or do karaoke?
Karaoke. I don't like to call it karaoke. If you look at my videos, I sing all the time.
Okay.
And
you're a singer? You tell me you sing?
I need a band. I need a stage. I need everything. But I like this thing. My favorite thing to do in Bangkok is anytime there. Hi, Pink Pearl Hero. Anytime there's a live band, I politely request to go sing on stage with them.
Oh wow!
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And they let you. Okay.
I like the attention. Yeah.
So you choose karaoke?
By far.
Okay. God, I think like swimming. So Pac-Man or Mario Brothers?
Mario Brothers.
Cell phone or computer?
Computer, because the MacBook, I've got a MacBook. It can do everything in the world.
But you're gonna choose one thing, so I can say computer. Okay.
Yeah.
But this has been so fun, Chris. I learned.
This is fantastic. Yeah. No. Thanks a lot for inviting me on. You're great. Beautiful smile. You're happy, and it's great, enthusiastic, and I look forward to speaking to you again. And any questions you have that I can potentially help you with, or any of your many vast following, it will be fantastic to help.
So how can people follow you? Tell people to follow you on Instagram or wherever you're on social media.
I'm sorry?
How can they follow you? Keep up with you, connect with you.
Yeah. I hope that people do. Say hello to Tara. Tara's someone that I've met through Instagram as well. I'm going to be speaking to her in a couple of. She's going to be mad. I don't know the date exactly, but one of these days coming up, so we'll find out more.
Great.
And I think that you and her will get along great as well if you guys connect.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, Tara.
How can people connect with you?
Again, the main thing is through Instagram, or if anyone really wants to talk, I'm here in the U.S. for I think another, hopefully 3 weeks, and then I'll go back home to Thailand. But again, Instagram's great. CD_worldwide is where it's at. We're doing our best to help other people. It's fantastic.
Okay.
And I want to again say thank you to you, and thank you to everyone else who's helped to motivate me through what they're posting and through action as well.
Yes. Well, thank you. I enjoyed it. I enjoy you again, and you have a good weekend.
All right. Awesome. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.